As I continue to read out of my book, The Super Couple, A Formula for Extreme Happiness in Marriage, I'm very grateful for those of you that have given good feedback, that have asked me to read this book, who have said that you just can't get your hands on some of these books when you're overseas, which makes me sad. You should be able to get books everywhere. But keep in mind, this book is also in audio. You can get that. You can get the hard copy, the paper copy, and I'm working on getting the Kindle back up. There's been a problem with it. So today, and if you do want to support my ministry, please like this video and subscribe. It really does help. And right below, you'll see a link to buymeacoffee.com, which helps support this ministry. My only income is from whatever I get from videos and the occasional clients that I see or the occasional seminar I do. And it's not a lot of income without the help of you. But you know what? I don't do this for income. I do this to spread truth. Today, I'd like to read about the faulty assumptions that I thought made an extremely happy marriage. Today I'm reading about faulty assumption number 4. They were never attracted to anyone besides their spouse. This fourth and extremely inaccurate assumption about the super couple's secret circled around the idea of romantic attraction. In my ignorance, I used to believe that if you really love somebody, that you'd stop being attracted to other people. Stop laughing at me. I mean, cut me some slack, as there is a kernel of truth in this hugely faulty assumption. But as I aged, I discovered that just because one was married didn't mean he or she stopped being attractive or attracted to others. Actually, the very opposite can easily take place, as human nature dictates that we often want that which we cannot have. You can eat any of these 785 varieties of desserts, but you cannot have that pecan pie. Wait, what? Why can't I have the pecan pie? What's wrong with pecan pie? I mean, look at all those pecans, freshly roasted. Oh, so tantalizing. And the smell. Oh, that pie smells awesome. There's absolutely nothing wrong with pecan pie, but it wouldn't be good for you. It's no big deal, though. Look at the giant, delectable, double-layered piece of death by chocolate you have in front of you. You should be so happy to have that slice of cake. Everyone else envies you having gotten this slice. It's the best dessert on the menu. Yeah, I know, I love death by chocolate, but I've had it every night for the past 3 years. I am really admiring that pecan pie over there. What kind of pecans did you put in it anyway? I mean, did you roast them in butter first? Wow, they really smell great. Well, yes, we did, but don't worry about the pecan pie. Your doctor said you can't have any. It wouldn't really be good for you anyway. Remember, sir, you're allergic to pecans, and I'm fairly certain the resulting anaphylactic shock would not be worth the risk. Well, there is that. And how about this lemon meringue? Sir, you hate lemons! Have you forgotten your long ago comment that death by chocolate was by far the best dessert God ever created, and that you'd never love another dessert more? I know, fine, but about this pecan pie, it's just not fair. I really wish I could have some pecan pie. I'm going to continue reading, but I just can't stand because I want to make a comment on this. Isn't that how it is with humans? You searched, you got the man or the woman that you thought was the best for you. You were in love. It's like, oh my gosh, proud to show your friends, proud to show your mom and dad. It's like, this is my beautiful fiance. And then when you've had this beautiful fiance every single day for 3, 4, 5 years, you start looking at really what is substandard, but they become attractive because you can't have them. Talks about the forbidden fruit, which is where I go on and continue in my book. Ah, the forbidden fruit. Crazy, isn't it? We can have the world and 90% of all that's in it, but our focus seems naturally to shift from what we have to what we do not have. Boy, I can't stand Adam and Eve for having done that. Just kidding. Relationships are the same way. As soon as we marry, we immediately, though very happy 90% of the time, become aware of all the others we cannot have. And those numerous off-limits others become even more attractive to us. The less relationally mature we are, the less likely we are to recognize this inevitability, and often find ourselves looking at the harmless menus again and pondering its forbidden fruit. Once this begins to take place, problems ensue. As a matter of fact, one wise super wife seemed to instinctively have learned of this problematic thinking, or at least became aware of it over the years as she journeyed towards superness. That when the concept of looking at the menu was brought up in our interview, she responded, "Why should I look at the menu if I know I can't order? Why would I want to tease myself like that? And what if I found something on the menu that looked more appealing to me than what I already ordered? Then what are my options? To leave my husband with whom I've already begun to build a life, only to go into an unknown that only appears to be better? What a predicament would that be? No, thank you. I will keep my eyes focused on my own menu." How wise she was, and I still remember that interview and how convicted I was. Because prior to that, I thought there was nothing wrong with looking at the menu, but that's probably why she had a super marriage and mine was unhappy. All right, I continue to read. Many of my super spouses implied or directly said similar things, but they all defaulted to, "I choose to keep my eyes on my spouse." They chose to maintain solid boundaries around their eyes and their hearts to protect their marriages because of their keen awareness of the dangers of attractiveness to and for another human being, both physical and emotional attractiveness. So again, in my idyllic search for the super couple formula, my mind would subconsciously elevate super spouses to a level that would have them immune to this unfortunate fact of life that we do not stop being attracted or attractive to others. I believe that once they found their super spouse, that they no longer had to deal with the temptation of loving another, because after all, they had a super spouse. In an attempt to defend my youthful ignorance, I must remind you that this idea was based in part on what actually takes place in the initial stages of nearly every romantic relationship. While this will be developed more fully later in the book when we discuss the brain changes and the love cocktail that we got from John Gottman. He's the grandfather of all marriage research, by the way. When we first fall in love with our future spouse, we are so hyper-focused on this person that nearly nothing or no one else is able to divert or capture our attention. As one friend of mine always jokes, someone could walk past my husband with her hair on fire and he wouldn't notice. While she was not serious, I hope, about her husband's true response, the idea is the same. When we are so transfixed by someone or something, nothing else will be able to capture our attention or turn that focus. If we want to take this argument a step further, it could be claimed that happily married men and women actually become more attractive to others, precisely because of the attractive nature of superness. Movies like The Notebook are successful because its viewers were attracted to a love like theirs, and thus a man like that or a woman like that. Because we often find those love stories attractive, we likewise find those lovers attractive. I remember that in my own life. I'd see guys who are like, "Oh, I love my wife." And then I'd think, "Oh my gosh, I want a husband like you." Of course, my mind would think, that person then therefore was elevated to a higher level. That wasn't good. Because we often find those love stories attractive, we likewise find those lovers attractive. Super spouses become more attractive to others because of their observed ability to love. I've witnessed this quite often in my lifetime and as a researcher. Women more so than men find a man more attractive who loves his wife. Oh, the irony. So my initial idea wasn't exactly alien to rational thinking. If I really love my spouse, then few others will be as attractive to me as is my spouse. While I will fully develop this idea in our chapter on redefining love, I will point out that the actions involved in falling in love are also the same actions required to remain in love and attracted to that person. If those same actions are directed towards a new person, they will arouse an attraction to that person as well. And that's a big problem. I hope this helps. We have to be in control of our attractions by guarding our eyes. And that's a very biblical concept. And when we say guarding our eyes, it's much more related to the male concept of men are visually stimulated. They're visually attracted. They see a beautiful woman. That's why you see a lot of older men marrying younger women. They don't marry women their ages all the time because they're not as visually pretty as the young ones. Sorry, 60-year-old ladies who are 60 like me. I'm not as pretty as I was when I was 20 and 30, right? So men are visually stimulated. They are attracted to younger women who have great bodies, great faces, great shape. Doesn't mean that they're not regarding the personalities. But women have always been more attracted to men who speak to their hearts. So we find romance much more important than do most men. That's why looking at the menu and you see other men who talk the way they should and are so loving, that's like porn for women. It's a joke and not a joke all at the same time. So while the Bible says that we should guard our eyes, it means we should guard our hearts as well. We women should guard our eyes from seeing how other men necessarily treat other women if it's going to cause us to ponder what we don't have and desire that other person. If we can look at it and go, okay, lesson learned, and then take your eyes and put it back on your own marriage, that's a little bit different. We all need help doing that because we are all human and we are all broken. But it is absolutely an action that we are to cultivate and not just an idealistic thought. Let me know your thoughts. I'm Dr. Christine Bacon. Thanks for watching yet another Bacon Bit. And as always, remember to live your life sunny side up.